Hi, my name is Bridget Kimsey, and I'm a yoga teacher, integrative healthcare provider and practitioner, author and scientist. And welcome to my sequencing on sequences you can do at the office or at your workspace at home or wherever it may find you. So these are very short sequences that you can pick and choose from of what might work for you, really adapting to what your needs are and where you are at, whether it's in a cubicle, your private office, at home, and depending day to day how you're feeling. Just good rules of thumb with having a desk, having a chair, working with a computer, making sure that your ergonomics are good. And there's lots of information on that, so I won't go into that. Drinking plenty of water, staying hydrated. If you have the ability and you're staring at a computer screen quite a bit, you might splash your face with cold water a few times throughout the day. And then also just getting up, taking a walk, even if it's just around the office space, just getting the limbs moving, crisscross patterning, helping the breath and the whole mind. Also, if you do have access to getting outside for a few moments, standing in sunshine, having a plant nearby, it's amazing how the cumulative effect of such simple things can make such a difference. I know that at my workspace, I do make use of a light box, and that's something you can talk with your healthcare provider if that's appropriate for you, but I find that to be really great. And I do practice some of what I'm going to do here. And so again, these are shorter sequences. You can click through what works for you and time it accordingly. But I'm glad you're here. Always feel free to reach out if you have questions or ideas. And let's get started. So you'll see I have a setup here of a table and a chair. And again, you can just sort of feel out what works for you. So our first sequence is going to be, I call it morning meltdown. Like, your brain can't, we think of multitasking and really it's the brain switching back and forth and back and forth. There really isn't this multitasking ability. There's switching different gears, but those gears can get tired in the neurology in the brain and in the body. So you'll see in order, you'll see as I go, but let's start with our morning meltdown. All right, so come on over to your chair and your workspace. All right, so I don't have a computer here, but let's imagine you did. And what I might recommend, if you've hit a wall and you're just exhausted, and what I might recommend, if you feel okay with your body, is with crocodile hands, one hand on top of the other, and just bring your head down. Taking some nice breaths here, feeling supported, making sure your back and your body are coming into this a little cold. You're just letting yourself have no stimulation and taking a few breaths here. Maybe it deepens, maybe it doesn't, don't worry about that. If your brain is already fried, just pressing stop. As you're here, notice how your feet and your legs are. Again, that's if you feel up for it. How your hips are doing, your lower back. Maybe thinking of just breathing into that lower back. Maybe even breathe into the chest, the shoulders, the arms, the neck and head. slowly coming up out of this, using your hands and arms to help you. Bringing one hand on the forehead, other on the back of the head, picking your head up. And just take a pause to sit back in your chair. Bring again yourself to your body. And if there's so much anxiety or feeling like there's nothing you can do, overwhelmed, focus on the feet or the hands. Maybe focusing on the limbs coming back into your belly and torso. Bring your hands over your face, just covering your eyes, and then picking your head up. Just a nice yawn and a stretch. And let it go. And depending on how much charge there is happening, maybe bringing the shoulders up to the ears, squeeze hands, let it go. If you are feeling overwhelmed, stay seated back. Sharp inhale, let it go. Inhale. Let it go. Inhale. Let it go. Good. Bringing your hands onto your thighs, maybe getting the feet first. If you can notice, I'm going into my heels and my toes. Don't worry about alignment. Trying to take care of the overwhelmed, exhaustion, feeling just burnt in the brain. Good. And then bringing the hands right onto the thighs, just tapping at the thighs. Tapping at the heart. Shaking out the hands up. And again, you may have to sit a little bit back away. Good. Bringing your hands right into the thighs, you're going to come forward. You're spreading your fingers and you're spreading your face, your tongue, and you're crossing your eyes if that's appropriate. Coming back. Exhale. Let the stress out. You don't have to growl. You don't have to shout, but you can really get some air going through there. Coming back. Bring your hands onto your thighs, sitting up, and let it go. Sitting up. Letting go. Bringing your hands around the back of the head, interlace fingers. Let the head and neck be open. Let the knees relax. You're supporting your head. Your elbows are a little bit in front maybe. Feeling like a gentle containment for expansion. And then picking yourself back up. Bringing your hands over your face again. Noticing if anything has changed. Go ahead, massaging into the scalp. Sometimes inviting exactly where you are and then honoring that and just moving with what you can do, what can begin to integrate yourself back. Because there are times when stress is so high, the burnout is so tough that we can no longer see options and we just feel, I'm literally scratching my head also and massaging. That we're just getting space will help you to see, oh right, I can take a break, I can delegate this out, this doesn't all have to be done. It just helps you unstick from the situation. So again, jaw and down, shake it out, jaw and down, jaw, down, blowing out the lips, belly breath if you're up for it. Inhale, exhale. Good. I'm going to turn to face you. So you're still facing where you are. I just want to be sure you can see me. Hands over the eyes again. Okay, from here, you are in, should do that so you can really get a sense. So if I'm here, you're going to take the index fingers, find your eyebrows, right in the middle of the eyebrows. Helpful if you're dealing with head pain, headache. Good. From here, we're going to move in. If you are having headache or head pain, you might take your index and thumb right into that little webbing between the thumb and index of the others and just pressing there. Just breathing. You can do that for as long as you'd like. I find if I'm having a lot of heart stress along with brain fatigue, if I take my hand and either hand, holding on to the middle finger and squeeze. If you can squeeze there for about 30 seconds, sensation, not pain. I notice I've done this where I've gotten some very shocking news, and I'm like, I'm already maxed. I'm like, no. And if I go in and do this, it'll cut it by about 40%. I believe, if I'm accurate, it softens around the pericardium tissue. That's what I've deduced or explored. I'm sure there's more on it if we're getting into some acupressure areas. But the idea here with this sequence is acute morning or anytime meltdown at your workspace. Good, and with that being done, shaking out, bringing your hands onto the top of your head, your face once again, over your heart and over your belly. Bringing it all the way down the legs and just brush it off. All the way down the legs, brush it off. One more time. Good, and then from here, just sitting up tall, taking a pause of how you feel, and we'll end this sequence. And I thank you for joining in. Excellent work. All right, let's continue on with our second sequence. So we're going to come back again like we're at our space. And with this sequence, I'm going to be looking at just the full body. So again, if you're already having to think of a lot of stuff, and even the thought of moving your chair is too much, stay right where you are. Let the movement, how you're feeling with some movement, some oxygen going through, some restoring, maybe allow you to get more involved. Maybe you get less involved, but don't, I would say, if it were me, I might not put on myself to do more when I'm clearly telling myself, I need a break, but I don't want to be asked to do anything. And unfortunately, sometimes we have to give a little effort, but we can coax it along, yeah? We don't have to put more on ourselves. All right, so with the full body, I'm going to turn back to face you, but I just wanted to give that encouragement that if you're here and you're like, oh God, I need to do something else besides this, and you just want a full body experience, right? I'm going to face you, but you can stay focused and even just push away from your desk. Now, I don't have my shoes on. You can keep your shoes on, of course, and just making sure that keep an eye out so you don't, bang into something. So let's come back into the legs and feet. Getting into the feet and the toes, going back and forth. This is our second sequence. Good. All right. And then from here, if you're okay with marching, and again, if you're somewhere where there's lots of people and you want to keep it simple, you can just, get into the toes. We're just getting into a little bit of movement. Good. And then maybe go fast. Let the vibration move through your body. Blowing out the lips. And pause. Shoulders up to the ears. Squeeze hands. Let it go. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Let it go. Shaking out the arms. Hands onto the knees. You're going to go into the thighs. You are open. Exhale back. Inhale, open. Exhale back. Inhale, open. Exhale back. Good. Bringing the thumbs, crease of where the thigh meets the hips, pulling down. Let that sink down and just give some space. Maybe looking to one side. Let the belly relax. Looking to the other side. Good. Coming back. Let that go. And again, press the thumbs into the top of the thighs. You're just giving yourself a little bit of space. Good, and let's go ahead. Bring the chin into the chest, little half circles. See how the head and neck are doing. The jaw is heavy. Good, coming up. We're just gonna draw up that right arm up tall and just coming over. I have my hand on the chair, just a little bit of side lean. You can look up. If your ribs have been flaring, lots of tension in the chest, maybe look down. Good, and then coming all the way up, changing the arms. Again, you can always modify this, what works for you. I'm going to the side. Maybe looking up. And then maybe try going down if you've been flaring the ribs or feeling a lot of chest breathing. Good, coming all the way. And so from here, hands on the shoulders, again, looking where you are in space. We're gonna go inhale to the right, exhale to the left, inhale right, exhale left, inhale right, exhale left. If you wanna pick up that pace, you could. Just getting a little bit of motion in the spine. Good, a little bit of energy, and then pausing. So we're gonna look over the left shoulder. I am weaving my hand through the chair, but you don't have to. Good, going to the second side. Opening that body. Feel free to keep the eyes opened or closed. Good, just coming back. Throw the arms up and then come down. Now, if you have any back issues, you might just come down a little bit. You could also come all the way. Inhale up. Exhale. Inhale up. Exhale. Inhale up. Exhale. Good. Opening the legs a little bit and maybe just getting into the shoulders. Enjoying a little bit of motion. Good, letting yourself open up again. Bring the hands behind the head, just lifting. You can also sit back here. Good, walking those feet and legs in, honoring the heart, what you've been up to. And then from here, absolutely lifting up. If you want to come a little bit further off your chair, I would say stay on the chair, but just getting your hands planted. Good. I opened the mouth there if you didn't notice that. I'm bringing the right leg in, circling around. Now Now, depending if you're wearing a skirt, tighter clothing, you just might have to adapt. And then getting into your foot. Good. From here, let's go ahead and bring the ankle bone, number 4, across the bottom portion of that thigh. Depending on if you're wearing shoes, even if you're wearing shoes, you could keep the shoes on and just massage into the calf and the ankle, getting a little more flow going. And again, I've tried to warm up with range of motion, a little bit of movement, but if this is too much, just knowing yourself, feel free to stay here as long as you'd like. Good, and just coming up, shaking that out, going to the other side, so we're picking up the other leg, maybe circling the foot and the toes. Good, circling around. Good, from here, go ahead and crossing ankle bone, bottom of the thigh, coming over. Good, coming up a little bit. So again, you're massaging maybe into the toes, into the foot, getting into the ankle and the calves. And then just coming over, letting the head and neck be heavy. Good, and just coming back up, taking your time. Good, and then from here, marching back in place, seeing how things are feeling, hopefully loosening up a little bit and feeling more energized and refreshed. So again, we're reaching out now with your right leg and just pitching forward. So I'm really holding on to the chair here. I've got the other foot in. Depending on how open you feel, you might bring yourself a little bit further. Good, and coming all the way back up, we are going to the other side. So you're bringing that leg down, and again, you might start with the hands on the chair, and then if it feels comfortable, coming a little more forward. Good, and just coming all the way back. Coming back into the feet. How we started. Back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Good, circling around. Going around the other way. We're bringing ourselves fully back into our center. Finding that still point. If you want to take the fingers touching the thumbs right below the navel. And bringing the hands to the heart. Finishing with this mini sequence for a full body office yoga, energizing restoration. Good, and opening the eyes. So we're going to move on to our next sequence. Just thinking, you can, I would say if you can face away from the desk, that's probably most helpful. And I might actually see about just moving the desk a little bit this way so I can see you better. Let's see how that works, yeah. Okay, so from here, let's say we're gonna get into the wrists. See how the hands, the wrists, the arms, but really the wrists and the fingers. If you've been typing a lot, doing a lot there, and you know it would be good to take a break, and you're just wanting to focus on letting that go, getting some movement into that area. So if you can, come away from the desk a little bit, just so you're not pushing into your computer, if you can. But again, if I've done yoga on airplanes, on buses, in taxi cabs, in cars as passenger. So I mean, you can really make this work for you, even if you're in a tighter space. Don't be intimidated. I'm just trying to also demonstrate for you. So let's go ahead with a short sequence for the wrists. So if you're here and you're coming off the computer, just bring the hands over the eyes. I often find that wrist and arm stuff often starts up near the thoracic, brachial plexus, center parts of the spine and body, top portion. So just let your arms hang down, up tall, column of light. Imagine your body is just loose clothing, very heavy, being impacted by gravity, and just opening and rotating the arm bones, open and close a few times. Just seeing how that feels. Maybe pausing with open, maybe lifting the chest a little bit so the arm bones, the shoulder blades are going back and then coming forward again. So I'm just, wherever you are, try not to get too judgmental or like it should be like this, but just sort of being with where it is. And we're just helping to bring a little more oxygen and flow in there. Squeeze and letting it go. If it's also been very in a lot of use, try to avoid any cramping, looking for sensation and not pain. Good. Good. From here, let's roll the shoulders back a few times. Let's just see how does that feel in there. Good. Bring the shoulders up to the ears, squeeze hands, and let it go. Good. Just go back and forth. Good. Squeeze and let it go. Back and forth. Good. And if you want to get the legs involved a little bit, to get the whole body, tall column of light, just go ahead. You could lift one leg and the other. Just getting the whole body engaged, although our focus is on our upper body and wrists. Good. Bringing that down, bringing the hands onto the thighs, open. Exhale. Inhale, open. Exhale. Open. And exhale. Good. Just pause here. Maybe hold on to one wrist, going over to one side, and then changing, going over to the other side, and then coming all the way to sit up on those bony landmarks, the sits bones, and just circling around, going the other way. Nice little motion. Good. And then interlace the fingers, just reaching up tall. Again, finding what's appropriate for you. Going over to one side now, looking up that right arm. Coming back, we are going to the other side, looking up the left arm. Good, coming up, letting the arms come down. So the fingertips are down and the fingertips are up. Fingertips are down and up and just circling. So again, especially if there's a lot of tension, there might be the wanting to just go in there and really get into it, and that might cause cramping or spasm or not feel good. It may feel good for some though, so it's good to experiment going up and down and circling again. So go ahead, taking this right arm across, hooking underneath, nice little stretch, looking over to your right. Coming back to center, opening. We're going to go ahead and take that left arm, hooking underneath, looking to the other side. Good, and just coming back. So again, you notice I have the desk. So, making it work for you. You can even make it a little more shallow with the arms. Keep the elbows a little bent. Good, bringing that in. And again, just pedaling a little bit, making sure the whole body is staying integrated. Good. From here, bringing the elbows in by the ribs, sitting up tall. You are exhaling. Inhale up. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. And exhale. From here, fingertips go down and up, down, and up, down, and up. Good, and then just going side to side. Good, and just letting that drop. If you want to add a whole body into it, if that's appropriate for your back. And again, it can also just be inhale up, exhale, inhale up. Good, shaking that out a little bit and just bringing that back in. So from here, I'm going to get into the feet for just a moment to let the arms rest. You can also just have the palms up. Good, bringing the hands into the heart. We're going to press the palms together, sitting up tall. And this can be a little tender, a little nervy. So if you bring your hands over to the right, come back, bring your hands over to the other side, and back, going back to your first side, and back over. Good, coming back, letting that go. Just take a pause. My palms are up. I am letting my knees sink into the armpit area, letting that be heavy. Good, and just slowly rolling up, keeping the chin in, maybe half circles, just sort of seeing how the neck and head are doing. Good, coming all the way back up, maybe shoulders up to the ears, squeeze the hands, let it go. If you are done with the hands, that's great. If you want a little deeper stretch, we have gotten some range of motion, so maybe taking one side and bending those fingers a little back, going to the other side. And again, if you're at the point where you're working with a provider on appropriate stretches, making sure to follow that protocol. Hopefully this can be an adjunct, but definitely if there's something more serious going on, just getting that checked out. Opening and shutting the hands a few times. Good, and then from here, shaking out. If you have space, which I do not right here, but I'm just gonna modify it. Inhale, exhale. You might even scoot over a little bit. Inhale, I'm still gonna catch it. Inhale, and exhale. Good, and just pausing here, coming back, sitting in your chair, and especially if, however you've been supported in your chair or typing or working on equipment, maybe just let the palms be up. Let the belly relax. Good. And we're ending this sequence on arms and wrists, more focus. Thank you for participating. Slowly opening the eyes and coming back. And so now I'm moving on to our next sequence, which is more focusing on the legs. So again, I hope that if this works for you, you can, sort of get exactly where you want to click it on. And I'm trying to keep this within 10 minutes or so. So hopefully it will work for you. All right, so here we are, and you're feeling pretty good upper body, but your legs are just antsy, and you're just not feeling so great, and you want more movement, but you've tried walking, you need some more deeper stretching, and you still sort of are confined to still being seated, or you do want to stay seated. That's going to be a pose for staying seated. So you might want to, if you can, it also might be appropriate if you need more help with balancing, to have the desk right in front of you so you can hold on. I'm going to have it so I'm holding on with one hand. I am going to stay seated for this little sequence. Let's get started. So I'm going to come a little bit over to this side. You can still see me. All right. And so as we are here and you're feeling restless, just getting again, so you saw I'm getting my toes and my heels. Good. And then from the toes and the heels, we're going to bring the hands onto the knees. We're inhale, open. exhale. Inhale, open. Exhale. Inhale, open. And exhale. Good. Coming back tall and lifted. We're just marching in place. We're inhaling, drawing the arms up. Making sure not to hit a chandelier. Coming down. And really get those arms engaged. Whole body moving. Inhale. Really feel both your legs sinking into the ground. Inhale and exhale. Good. Shaking out. From here, go ahead and just feel your feet. I have my arms on the side of the chair and just sink in a little bit and then come down. So I'm not exactly lifting up out of the chair, but it's like enough pressure into your feet. You almost feel like you could, and into your legs. Good. And just go ahead and maybe get a little vibration. Good. From here, open the feet a little wider than the hips and just going back and forth. Good. Seeing how that's going. Good, we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna start with the right leg. So walking the toes in again, legs about hip width apart. I'm taking the right leg in. And I'm just gonna bring the head down. Inhale, open. Exhale. Inhale, open. Exhale. Inhale, open. And exhale. Good. From here, if you are up for it, go ahead and circle the toes and the feet. Go one way and then the other. I'm going to add a little strength element so my elbows are in and I am exhaling. Inhale, hopefully my feet aren't dirty. Exhale. But you can definitely have shoes on here. Really feeling your standing leg getting engaged. You can even flare the toes, really making sure that it's staying engaged. Bringing the arms up and then bringing that arms down. So I'm coming a little bit more onto the edge of my chair, making sure your chair feels very stable. Coming back up and coming back down. Drawing up, drawing down, drawing up. Pause here, bring it in. Good, you might even just circle a little bit here. Good, and then coming forward. So again, you can decide how much or how little. Really taking care of that standing leg is engaged. Let the head and neck go. Good, coming all the way back up. We are bringing this leg in. And we are going to the other side. So go ahead, picking up this leg. We are exhaling and open. Exhale and open. Exhaling. Inhale and exhale. Good, coming back up, circling back again with the toes and the feet. Going the other way. Good, and then from here, you are inhale, you are exhale. Inhale, looking for sensation, not pain. Don't walk out the knees. Good, coming back, lifting and sitting up tall. And again, modification would be just in the ground. Doesn't have to be up. Coming all the way up. And then I'm coming all the way over to pick it up on my inhale. Inhale. Good, exhale. Inhale up. Exhale. Inhale up. Good, pausing here. Maybe pointing the foot, circling, getting a little more engagement all throughout the leg. Good, and then just drawing it back. We're gonna come all the way down. Another thing I should also say is you could try, I can't see, point the foot down maybe. See, my foot is flexed here. Apologize that it's out of visual. Good, and then just coming all the way back in. We are bringing that leg all the way in. Good, coming back in, marching in place. Take a full breath up and a full breath down. Inhale up and exhale. Good, just shaking out the arms. Good, so we're gonna scoot over to our right side. And again, this is where if you have the table in front of you or to the side, this can be helpful. I'm just bringing that leg back. My back heel is up. I am just letting this drop out down. I have my sits bones on the chair. I am lifting, I'm feeling supported and just allowing for some opening without it going into pain, hopefully, or overstretching. If you are up for it and want to, you can come off the chair. Really feel yourself getting grounded in the legs, building a little heat and strength. Good, looking great. Good, and we're just gonna come down. We are bringing that leg in. Go ahead if it works for you. I'm scraping along the top of my foot. If that's okay for the knee, it can just be a nice little change. But make sure you're not hanging out in the joints. Good, we're going to the other side. So you're coming a little bit over. So this is where, again, having support if you need it, making sure it's there. Back heel is high, that hip is dropping down. It's also going to depend on the kind of chair you have, so working with that. Good, and if you wanted to come up off of it, making sure, again, you feel supported. Again, that tailbone is heavy, belly drawing in. I'm thinking, though, more of just letting those feet and legs sink down into the earth. Good, and just coming all the way down. And again, if you want to come onto the top of that foot for a little bit of a stretch, that can feel quite nice on the foot and the leg. Here we are. Good, and so this is where it would be probably helpful if I'm looking forward. You get, be like, what is she doing in her office? So I'm extending out the right leg and my hands are on the hip. So I do have myself at a little bit of the corner of the chair. And here we go. Oh yeah, you could add a little support with a table. Use the props that you have. Good, and just coming all the way back in. You might even try going away. And coming back in. We are going to the other side. So I'm gently using my hand to help support that leg. I'm just going back and forth a few times, going to the other side. So as I come over, I am extending out that leg. And again, just coming over. So you can see that if you have the table in front of you, you could give yourself some support. Following your breathing, coming back, going to the other side. Good, and then we are coming all the way back up. Walking that leg in. Again, you can use the hand to support it if that would be appropriate. Not holding them super long, but definitely taking care of yourself. Once again, inhale, draw the arms up. Exhale. Inhale. Lots of stress, blowing out the lips. Good, and then just coming up, shaking out the arms, bringing the hands in. And last thing here is taking this right ankle bone, bottom of left thigh, just enjoying a deeper stretch. I hope it sort of can see a pattern of range of motion, a little bit of movement, a little bit of stretching, and then we go into maybe something a little bit deeper. Good, and just coming all the way back. We are going to the other side, shaking out that leg, coming into the other side, ankle bone, bottom of the thigh, looking to get into the thigh, not the knee joint. You can see my other hand is supporting the knee. Good, and just coming all the way back, letting that leg down, shaking out a little bit, and once again getting back into the feet, going back and forth a few times, bringing the arms up, still integrating. Exhale over the whole body, although the focus has been in this sequence on the legs, bringing the hands into the heart. And exhale, bringing the arms down. Letting that grounded, energized, strengthening legs support your whole being, your visions, your heart, your mind, and thoughts. Good, and thank you for working with that sequence. So the next sequence we're going to work on is self-massage. You can do this from a chair. I'm going to do it standing though. I'm going to move things a little bit out of the way so you can see this. And again, you can adapt it as you need and from where you are. So coming to standing, I have a chandelier over me, so I'm trying to not bonk it. So you might move things out of the way if you're up for it. Okay, so from here, again, you're gonna make sure that you're not gonna hit anything. My legs are definitely wider than my hips. I'm gonna start with just bending the knees. I'm gonna bring my hands to the pelvis. I am tucking the pelvis forward and back. So we are working with prana, we are working with chi. I find that getting into sometimes in this physical somatic way, that it can definitely, going around in a circle, it can definitely help to just break up where we might be holding some tension, allowing energy to flow. I notice a huge difference if I'm feeling just tired or stuck, that doing this will help. Coming back to center, bringing the hands into the heart. Good. Dropping down, and we're just going around. So you can see, we don't want to accidentally hit anything. Back and forth, and back and forth, back and forth. Good. Back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Good. All right, loose fists. We are getting into the buttocks, going down through the thighs. So you can kind of hear, looking for sensation, not pain, and looking for muscles and fascia, not getting into joints or ligaments or tendons. Good. Keep going. Good. All right, first finger and thumb, and I'll just show, hopefully I can show you back version of that. If you have kidney issues, just want to be mindful, although I haven't heard of anything, it's just something I've heard. Good to cue. Good. All right. All right, from here, we are just using, getting into little Tapotement, top of the shoulders. Good, and then taking this right flat of the knuckles. Again, looking for some muscles, the fascia around those muscles, not getting into joints. Inside, sensation, not pain. Other side, flat of the knuckles. Good, top of the shoulders, going down. Good, opening and shutting the hands. We are tapping along. So free to blow out the mouth, along the jawline. Good. Along, underneath the collarbone. And then wonderful sternum bone. Good, stimulating. Also some of the immune functioning there. Good. Good, and massaging the belly. Good, from here we are walking the feet in just a little bit. So again, a comfortable distance for you. You're gonna inhale, open. Let the gaze be soft. Exhale. Inhale. And exhale. Inhale. And exhale. Good. Bringing the first fingers and thumbs to touch where the navel is. A little bit down, tall and lifted in mountain pose. and completing our self-massage sequence. So now we're coming into our standing sequence. So I'm going to keep the table here. I'm going to bring the chair in. Okay, so from here, let's say we're seated and we really want to get into some standing work. We're looking for movement. We've been walking maybe. We're just wanting to do something but having some support. So I would say let's just come to standing and have the chair nearby. I'm going to push the chair to either side. I'm going to start here. Let's see. Many options. I'll move it way out of the way. So we're going to be using the table more. So hopefully you can see me okay. So I'm standing at my desk. I'm shaking out the arms a little bit, bringing the hands into the heart. And again, if balance is an issue, bringing your hand onto the chair or onto the table. And once again, as we saw with the self-massage portion, if you bring your hands to your hips, tilt the pelvis forward and back a few times. My legs are hip-width apart. Circling around, you can always make it wider. Going the other way. And then thinking of just landing in place, drawing up. Good, up tall and lifted, almost as if you could go right up into your tippy toes. That's not an option, just flaring the toes, getting to the balls of the feet, standing tall, not locking out the knees. Inhale here, exhale, pressing the palms together, maybe stepping the feet together so that you are one tall, long, lifted mountain. Good, and letting that soften. We're going to go ahead and bring the hands out onto your desk or chair or table, walking the legs back behind you. I am sitting back, oh my goodness. Hopefully that's a good feeling. And just go back and forth a few times with the legs. Good, so you're gonna wanna make sure that your table is pretty secure in this. So if it's not, modifying for that, coming all the way back. We are coming back into mountain pose. Good. From here, opening the feet a little bit. I'm not going to have us going into the ground, so you might see me just picking and choosing things we might normally see on the ground. I am exhaling. Now, if you were really uncomfortable, you could put your hands for some extra support. I prefer and feel more comfortable on my thighs, but again, working with what works for you. Inhale, open. Exhale, open. And exhale, good. And so coming down maybe a little bit, you could even have maybe a little bit of support here. You could bend the knees. If you're super open today, you might come down a little bit further. And slowly rolling back up, bringing one hand to the forehand, other hand to the back of the head, lifting up. Good, exhale, arms come down. Inhale up. Exhale down, inhale up, and exhale down. Let's go ahead and taking that left arm over, coming back up, other arm over. Good, I can still see you. And coming back up. We are just rolling through the shoulders now. Don't locking out the knees. Bringing your hands around, thumbs along the back, lifting the heart. Good, and then just coming all the way down again. So maybe you're holding onto the legs. Maybe you're coming forward with a little support. Again, just sort of pick and choose. Good, and coming all the way up, maybe swan dive. The arms up, back, into the heart, into our mountain pose, into Tadasana. And then coming back into our supported downward dog. So as I come back, I am sitting back. Now you can definitely bend the knees. Going a little side to side. Coming to stillness. We're going to take that left leg forward. So this is where it becomes important that you're not, it really depends where your desk or workspace is, that it's not going to fly away from you. So if you'd rather use the chair or you don't need any props at all, good, you're just here. Maybe you bring up one arm or the other into warrior one. You could go back. Good. And then coming back, coming all the way down. And let's just push back. So once again, here we are, downward dog. If you feel again that I have a very heavy table here, so I know this table well, I think. But yes, you don't want to think, you want to know. Good, if you are good here, a little bit of an incline, you might bend it down, exhale, bend it down, exhale, bend it down, building a little heat, lifting up through a little cobra, coming back. Good, and then taking this right leg forward. Left leg is behind you. Good, and just pausing here. So I am spreading through the legs. This may be exactly what feels right for you. Maybe you're taking the arms fully up. Bringing the arms back and up. Good, coming all the way back. Coming forward. And once again, with downward dog. And we are coming forward again, only if you feel secure. Good. And then maybe going down and up as your exhale. Inhale down. Exhale. Inhale down. Exhale. And then as we come here, you might lift up and pull back. We're taking that left leg forward again. Coming into Virabhadrasana 2. So it's great, you can hold on to the table or chair. You're bringing that back leg around, back toes are in. I'm sinking down. It doesn't have to be a big wide motion. You are opening the arms. You can have one hand still giving you support. And then you can rest on the table or on your body, whichever works for you. Good, and we are just coming all the way back up. Our brief look at Virabhadrasana 2. Lengthen the legs. We're going to stay here and maybe just take a modified or more full triangle, whatever works for you. And again, if you're looking at modified triangle, you might have your hand a little bit behind where that leg is. Still breathing. Good, and then coming all the way back up. Beautiful. So we're going to turn the body, take a pause here, let the hip flexors and bones settle, walking the legs in. And then again, if you're up for it, I tend to like to just get a little bit of motion. I can still see you. Good. And then coming to stillness. Good. Coming back, standing tall. Getting ready for the other side. So you're going to see the back of me as I go back. So from here, we are stepping this right leg forward. Left leg is behind you. My back toes are in. Virabhadrasana 2, Warrior 2. Really getting into the legs. And again, feel free to use your table, workspace, a little bit of support. Going all the way back up. Maybe moving that back leg in just a little bit. Hands on the hips. So again, what I was saying before is if you can bring your hand a little bit away from you, or wherever you are right for you for triangle. Good, and just coming all the way back up. That can be quite opening if you've been seated, so definitely taking care of yourself. Take a pause here, and then walking the legs back in. Little bit of marching in place maybe, moving the hips, just letting it rebound a bit. Good, and then from here we're bringing the legs in, right back to our starting position, Dandasana. Good, and just adding in an element of a twist. So you could, many options here. It's almost amazing how many options there are. But I would say let's go with, walk a little closer to your table, bring the right hand down, and just bring the left arm up. Or your left hand down, right arm up. Now, of course, making this as deep as you would like. You can even bend the knees. Let's bring that arm down, other side. Good, coming back and then taking chair so the legs are together. You are just going ahead. And again, if you just want to get into the glutes and hold on to your table, that is fine. If you want to bring both arms up, there's an option. Good, and then just coming over. Now you could come over halfway. You could come over all the way. Good, and just slowly rolling up. One hand on the forehead, other on the back of the head, lifting up tall. Letting it all go, bringing your hands back into the heart, back into our starting position of Dandasana, Tadasana, mountain pose. Good, and then coming to have a seat. So if you can, always taking about a minute or two to just sit back into Shavasana, letting that work that you just did sink all the way in. And bringing this sequence to a close, hands coming back into the heart. And thank you for coming to this sequence. Okay, so moving on from our standing sequence, our last sequence is just going to be about breathing. Yes. So if you are just needing, maybe you're getting ready to transition to going back home, or just need a bit of a shutdown, let's go ahead and take that. So go ahead again, get comfortable in your chair. Letting the belly and the shoulders relax. As we come into our last sequence here with breath, just becoming aware of where you are in your chair, your skin inside your clothing. And don't worry if your breath is shallow or different than you think is correct, just letting it be. head soften and the face and jaw. Letting the shoulders and arms and hands and fingers become heavy with gravity. Feel your back, your whole torso supported by the chair. Your hips and pelvis supported by the chair. Your legs, knees, calves, ankles, feet, and toes all heavy. Starting with just a few rhythmic belly breathing. Your next inhale, inhaling into the lower part, the belly, front and back body. That breath flows into the chest and ribs, front and back, all the way up. And then exhaling belly, ribs, chest. Inhaling belly, ribs, and chest. Exhale belly, ribs, and chest. One more time. Inhale. And exhale. Moving to Anuloma Viloma, or alternate nostril breathing. You're going to take your right hand and go ahead, bring the last two fingers in, or no, the first two fingers in. The thumb is going to go to the right side and the ring finger and pinky finger to the left. Okay, so opening the ring finger and pinky finger, you're going to inhale through the left. Close off the left. Exhale right, opening the thumb. Inhale right. Closing off right. Exhale left. Inhale left. Closing off left. Exhale right. Inhale right. Closing off right. Exhale left. Taking a round on your own. Good, and just bringing the arm down, taking a nice breath in, exhaling. Deciding now if it's comfortable to have your hands how they are, resting on the thighs, palms up. You could also have one hand inside the palm of the other. You could have the thumb touching the first finger or thumb touching the middle finger. And don't overthink it. If none of them feel right, just staying right where you are. Just wanted to give some hand mudra options. Selecting how you want to sit and just following along. Your next inhale, you're going to think of the number 1, and you can think of it in your brain. It may go very fast, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, or it might be slow, but inhaling with 1. Exhaling 1. Inhaling 2. Exhaling 2. Inhaling 3. Exhaling 3. Going back to 1. Inhale, exhale, chanting 1 inside, either one time or multiple times. Move on to the number 2. Move on to the number 3. And it may be that you are slow, so in the flow that you don't even need the numbers. I find the numbers very helpful if my mind has been very active and can see over time how it becomes just thinking the number 1 just one time, or even I just slip out of thinking of the numbers. Take as long as you'd like with that. As you're ready, though, and when you're ready, bringing your palms back over your belly, coming to sit up a little bit, or just coming back to the room, becoming aware again, your feet in the ground, your skin and your clothing, your space. I'll end this sequence and this whole practice with the sound of Om. Feel free to join in or just listen. Hands can stay here or at the heart. Inhale. Om Shanti, Shanti Om. May we have peace, peace, and peace. As you feel ready, slowly opening the eyes, finding a point to focus on and bringing in the room. And namaste. Thank you for coming and joining in on these office workspace sequences in yoga. And I wish you all the best. I'll come a little closer. Again, my name is Bridget Kimsey. If you have any questions or concerns, feel free to email me and be in touch. And I wish you lots of good care and light. Take care. Bye-bye.